Hello and welcome back to Dark Tales. High above the Bedfordshire village of Clophill stand the haunting ruins of the old church of St Mary. Surrounded by ancient graves and overlooking the countryside, this medieval church has earned a reputation unlike almost any other in Britain. For decades it has been linked with reports of ghostly apparitions, mysterious lights, grave desecration, and alleged occult ceremonies. Newspapers once labelled it Britain's Black Magic Church, drawing visitors from across the country in search of the unexplained. But behind the sensational headlines lies a real history stretching back almost 1,000 years. A story of medieval worship, Victorian change, criminal acts, restoration, and enduring paranormal claims. Tonight, we uncover the true history and reported hauntings of Clophill Church. Stay with us. Let us look at the history of Clophill, because without history there will be no hauntings. Clophill itself is an ancient settlement recorded in the Doomsday book of 1086 under the name Clophill. Although the present ruins are largely those of a 15th century church, historians believe there was almost certainly an early church on the same hill. Documentary records mention a priest serving Clophill as early as 1145, suggesting that Christian worship had taken place here for centuries before the surviving building was constructed. The church occupied a commanding position on the green Sen Ridge, overlooking the surrounding countryside. During the medieval period, much of the village itself was situated closer to the church before gradually moving downhill over the centuries. For around 400 years, the church served the people of Clophill. By the early 19th century, however, the building had become too small and was falling into poor condition. The village population had grown, and reaching the hilltop church during winter was increasingly difficult. The decision was made to build a new parish church in the centre of the village. Construction began in 1848 and the new St Mary's Church was consecrated in 1849. The old church was not immediately abandoned. Instead, its chancel and porch were demolished, while the remaining nave continued to serve as a mortuary chapel for funerals and burials for many decades afterwards. The decline of the old church. Throughout the 20th century, the old church gradually deteriorated. A major turning point came in 1956 when thieves stole lead from the roof. Without protection from the weather, rain rapidly destroyed the remaining timbers, accelerating the building's decay into the roofless ruin you see today. Despite this deterioration, the surrounding churchyard continued to contain historic graves dating back generations. Eventually, the ruins became a magnet for explorers, photographers, and local curiosity seekers. Sadly, they also attracted the vandals. Clophill first gained national attention in March 1963. The grave of Jenny Humston, the wife of a 19th century local apothecary, was broken into. Her remains were removed from the grave and arranged inside the church in what police described as a ritualistic display. The shocking discovery made headlines across Britain. Police investigated extensively, but no one was ever convicted. The incident fueled widespread rumours of satanic worship. Further grave desecrations occurred during the following years, including incidents in 1969 and again during the 1970s. Animal remains, burnt candles and occult symbols were reportedly discovered at various times around the site. While newspapers frequently referred to black magic and satanic cults, investigators were never able to conclusively prove that organised occult groups were responsible. Some researchers believe many of the incidents may simply have been acts of vandalism carried out by individuals seeking notoriety. What remains beyond dispute is that repeated acts of desecration genuinely occurred, creating the church's dark reputation. The legends. Over time, numerous legends became attached to Clophill Church. Perhaps the best known claims that the church was built facing in the wrong direction, with its altar supposedly facing west rather than east. According to folklore, this meant the church was symbolically turned away from God. However, historians have found no convincing evidence that the church was deliberately built incorrectly. Likewise, stories claiming the church stands directly over a medieval leper colony remains unproven and should be regarded as local folklore rather than established historical facts. Reported hauntings. Long before the church became famous for grave desecrations, local people had already spoken of strange experiences around the old ruins. One of the most frequently reported apparitions is that of a hooded monk. Witnesses have claimed to see a solitary dark figure standing among the graves, or silently walking through the churchyard before disappearing without trace. Another recurring report describes a woman dressed in pale clothing seen near the ruined walls, often vanishing as observers approach. Visitors have also described hearing unexplained footsteps behind them despite finding no one nearby. Some investigators have reported sudden cold spots moving through the church. Even on calm evenings, others have experienced an overwhelming feeling of being watched while standing inside the ruined nave. There have also been reports of whispers, unexplained knocks and strange echoes that appear to come from empty sections of the graveyard. Several paranormal investigators have claimed unusual readings on electronic equipment during investigations. None of these experiences have been scientifically verified, and they remain eyewitness reports rather than proven paranormal events. Nevertheless, similar accounts have continued for decades and have helped establish Clophill as one of Britain's most known allegedly haunted churches. Recognising both its historical importance and its deteriorating condition, local volunteers and heritage organisations began working to preserve the ruins. The Clophill Heritage Trust played a major role in stabilising the structure and making the site safer for visitors. Archaeological investigations carried out during restoration uncovered evidence relating to the church's long history, but produced no evidence supporting claims of supernatural activity. Today, the old church is protected as both a Grade 2 listed building and a scheduled ancient monument, ensuring that its important piece of Bedfordshire's heritage will survive for future generations. Clophill Church occupies a unique place in Britain's paranormal history. Its genuine medieval origins, centuries of worship, Victorian abandonment, documented grave desecrations, and decades of ghost sightings have all contributed to its remarkable reputation. Unlike many haunted locations, its history contains events that are undeniably real. The vandalism happened, the police investigations happened, the national headlines happened. The hauntings, however, remain matters of personal testimony. Whether the reported apparitions are evidence of the supernatural, the power of suggestion, or simply the atmosphere of an isolated medieval ruin is something each visitor must decide for themselves. What cannot be denied is that Clophill Church continues to fascinate historians, paranormal investigators and curious visitors alike. Its stones have witnessed centuries of history. Whether they also conceal something beyond explanation remains an open question. Thank you for watching another episode of Dark Tales, and thank you for listening. If you visited Clophill Church or experienced anything unusual there, we'd love to hear your story in the comments below. If you enjoyed this factual exploration into one of England's most controversial haunted locations, please like, subscribe and share the video. Until the next time, stay safe, keep an open mind and remember, history often leaves behind mysteries that refuse to fade. This version stays close to the documented historical record while making it clear which paranormal elements are reported experiences rather than established facts. Until the next story, until the next time, goodbye.